Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, we're going to talk about two charts that actually point to the fact that oil and gold could sell off in a major way, beginning as early as today, going into next week. So over the course of the next 7 to 10 days, we could see a major drop in oil and gold prices. Now, I'm going to reveal the two charts that I believe the precedents and are highly correlated to what's about to happen to the price of oil and gold. Now, if oil and gold both drop, then that would also mean that the indexes could drop. So with that said, let's take a look first, because the chart of oil looks pretty bullish, right? We've pointed out on a 10-day chart in one of the few videos not so long ago that oil was making a cup with a handle breakout on a shorter time frame. Now this breakout has accelerated yesterday, right? So this chart looks pretty bullish, right? The momentum is bullish out of this consolidation right here. Now it's breaking out to the moon. But history tells us that anytime it has done so, gotten pretty close to this orange line or just done a slight overshoot in this instance, oil sold off strongly right after that. So basically we could be seeing this. I'm not talking about the kind of crash in oil that gets you to a 40, or guys, if we study some of the instances in history during COVID, there's a moment where oil goes negative. However, there's one similar market condition right now. If you look back in the history of COVID, there were two things that were happening, right? The demand was collapsing and the price of shipping was going through the roof. Actually, right now, the second is true, because oil containers now are like $100,000 a day as far as your costs for transporting oil. So, guys, this is one condition that is very similar. Now, clearly, we don't have a demand issue to the magnitude that we've had back in COVID. But if the shipping costs are to continue to increase, I think we can see a sell-off in the price of oil, because when oil gets from one place to another, there are two variables, more like three variables, right? So there's the price of oil itself, there's the shipping cost, and then there is an insurance cost, just to keep it general, right? So as the costs of shipping are increasing, okay, in order for one country to sell oil to another, if the demand is not strong, or demand is not crazily strong, if we're noticing that, hey, the demand could be on the weak side, China is not doing so strongly, United States, I know we're getting these fake job numbers and fake GDP numbers, but we got a ton of oil. We got a situation to where what I'm saying is right now may not be the moment for the strongest demand for oil. So in order for one participant to sell oil to another participant, they will actually have to cut the price of oil itself to compensate. So for the price to just stay the same at, let's say, $77, if container shipping costs are at 100,000, then you'd have to at some point adjust this to make a sale to the other participants. So what I'm saying is these higher container costs, given the environment of not the greatest demand, could actually result in the oil price itself taking a hit. And so one of the reasons for you might not have been in the markets during the COVID when oil goes negative. It was a sharp decline in the demand combined with high costs of shipping and storage. And so nobody basically wanted to buy it for just one particular week. And so oil futures collapsed to like -40. So I'm not saying we got this type of situation, but what I am saying, if costs will continue to escalate on the shipping side, then instead of what naturally would seem like oil could actually go higher, oil could actually drop, because the shipping part would have to eat away at the price of oil for the transactions to keep taking place. Now, a gold chart is very bearish as far as everything we look at, but it's at a critical level. It's above the 2000 level, and we're not far from potentially breaking it. There's increased selling. There's a lot of negative things on this chart. So there's bearish diversity and everything, but today could be the day where oil makes where gold makes an outsized move, maybe 20-40 points to the downside. Now, the two key charts I want to show you guys, and this is what the video is about. It's LMT, which is a defense stock that sold off in a major way recently. And thank God, if you were a part of our paying member alerts group or you work with a coach, okay, we got you right before this drop happened. Now, some of you have came on board and signed up the day after we got into the trade, and even with that, we got you in this trade on the bounce, and you still did good. But the question here is this: why is defense stock of such caliber as Lockheed Martin is selling off in context of escalating geopolitical tensions, possible wars on 5 different fronts in 2024, 2025. I mean, the future is looking bright here for the defense sector. However, they're selling off at the speed of light. I mean, this is a mini crash. I mean, something goes from highly bullish, and this is not reflected in this chart, but if you're trading this with us, you know that at the earnings report, this thing actually shoots higher first, like 10 points higher, and then it sells off. So between there and there, I mean, guys, we're looking at almost a 15% sell-off from the bounce till where the stock goes yesterday, 425. That's a 15% drop in 3 days. Why is that happening? Okay, so, and if we look, just to make the case a little bit more solid here, if we look at another great defense company, Northrop, NOC is the ticker, well, it's the same. And it gets downgraded this morning, if you haven't discovered that yet. So same stocks. This one was also on our radar. Also, we bought puts on that. So great calls as far as shorting defense companies based off the chart. But now that they're trading so much lower, the question is, why is this happening? What do these big, heavy players know about defense sector that we don't know? And why these companies, in conditions of political geotensions escalation, why are they saying that maybe they're not going to do so well going into the next few quarters? So if defense companies are selling off, then some of the biggest catalysts for oil and gold to go higher, I mean, the number one time to buy gold is when you hear war headlines, right? So you hear the war in Ukraine, what happens? The first day, oil shoots to the moon, gold shoots to the moon. So, or the defense companies. So just think about that. Like, if we look right here, what is that? Well, this gap up here was nothing else but October 7, Israel, Hamas. And now we're getting exact opposite of that. So what happens on this day, on October 7th, 8th, and 9th to the price of oil? It jumps. What happens to the price of gold, right? Let's just bring these things in perspective. So you can see the correlation here I'm trying to explain to you. Gold takes off right after, so this bigger size candle right here, and then the gap up higher. All of this takes place October 7th, 8th, 9th. Completely busts out higher, this big candle. So this was the result of Israel, Hamas, okay, all of that. And then further escalation results in that. And since then, very similar chart, right? Very similar chart. I mean, the chart here almost looks identical. Look, like this chop right here in gold almost resembles identical this chart. It almost resembles identical this chart, not ideally as NOC, but it's here, the correlation here, and then happens this. All right. So when we're looking at gold, strong bounce, another bounce, chop, 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 and here comes the drop off. So the drop off is not on this chart yet, but basically from what we study at 13 market moves as far as charts, divergences, and pattern recognition, and now that I'm trying to explain this correlation between defense sector dropping like a rock, I think gold and oil will look like the chart of NOC. Okay, it's going to do this, and gold and oil will look like the chart of LMT. Okay, so that is something, this could be a crazy trade. Why could this be a crazy trade? Well, this is the moment, right? The whole world's been bearish on oil for how long? Last 25 days. We've been bullish on oil. As of yesterday, we went bearish on oil because we believe if we're going to get hit with this massive crash over the course of the next 8 days, right, then oil would also have to sell off, because in conditions of a crash, market crash, oil normally sells off as well. So we changed our stance exactly the day when world sentiment now is, hey, oil is going to break out higher. Now, overall, we're still maintaining our bullish posture on oil long term, but what I am saying is we could see a drop to the 60s, maybe 69, 68. I think there's a chance in a sharper move we can see oil hitting 65, 64 possibly. And then, clearly we can bounce out of that and continue with the move higher. But so, especially from the standpoint, from the trading standpoint, when do you want the entry? Well, the last move just above the orange line got you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days of heavy selling. And so I think we could see a parallel move just to that one going into here. Now, I think it could happen based off the chart of NOC, like it could be happening in a much faster way. So maybe oil can bounce slightly today and then it could sell off. Maybe gold could just have maybe a tiny bounce and begin selling off. But we're looking for a big move. NOC and LMT, they're not making a small size move. They're making a move expansion on heavy, serious sell volume to the downside, which means everyone that has been holding these stocks, okay, NOC for a while, right? Hey, we have geopolitical tensions. Hey, there's a World War III. Hey, things are just getting out of control in the fucking world. So all of these people are just sitting here waiting for this thing to break out, and then exactly the opposite happens. Boom. Everyone's getting out on strong volume. Look, this volume candle matches the candle when they were buying them October 7th, 8th, 9th, right? Boom, there it is. So, guys, I think we got a pretty clear roadmap for what oil and gold will do. Again, some of these correlations, they could take just a little bit longer. But again, they could begin today on January 26th. So don't ignore this message. Come and trade it with 13 market moves. Make sure you have your account set up correctly to trade options on oil. That's what we trade here at 13 market moves. Options on oil, not actually futures. We trade options on oil futures. And if you're not sure how to do that, it's actually very simple. And we'll trade options on gold futures. So we're expecting big move on gold to the downside. Could be today, but it could take a few days because sometimes these correlations, they may need just a bit of time to catch up. But a big move is very, very close here to the downside in oil and gold, despite of how bullish things may appear if you're paying attention to what they're talking about as far as oil prices right now in the world. So guys, I want you to trade this with 13 market moves. Don't miss a move. Clearly, you may be listening to this. Well, Leo, I wish I took that NOC trade. Leo, I wish I took that LMT trade, right? Well, you missed those two trades. I just give you two more trades, which I believe will make even more. because the options on these oil and gold puts, they're way underpriced right now. So again, go to 13mmtv.com, click the big orange button, sign to trade this with a 13 Market Moves coach so you have a chance at a 30xer here. Let's roll, guys.